Hello everyone, welcome to the class and I hope all of you are safe and fine. Beta, this lecture is also in continuation of chapter 4, chapter 3 of civics, and name of the chapter is electoral politics. Beta, in previous lecture we discussed about the why elections, that why elections are held, and other topic that we discussed, that was why do we need elections. And with that, we also discussed what makes an election democratic. So, beta, today's topic is it good to have political competition? As you know, beta, there are some basic features of democracy. And because we we live in a democratic country, and the foundation of a democratic country is its election. As you know, it is just known as the national festival, right? So they, whatever the basic features of democracy, all of those should be followed in election. So now, like today's topic, that is it good to have political competition? So beta, election are thus all about the political competition. So many parties are there. This competition takes various forms. The most obvious form is the competition among political parties, because candidate of various parties, they contest election. That is why it is known as the political competition. At the constituency level, it takes the form of competition among several candidates, and if there is no competition, elections will become pointless, because it will not fulfill the basic feature of democracy, that there should be choice. People should have choice to choose their representatives. So, as I was telling you about the at the constituency level, political competition is among several candidates. And if we talk about the at the Vidhan Sabha level or Lok Sabha level, then this competition is among various parties. Now the question is it good to have political competition? As we know that every aspect, it has merits also and it has demerits also. So an electoral competition has many demerits, like it creates a sense of disunity and factionalism, means fragmentism in every locality. Some people, they support one party, other people support another party, so it creates disunity. And even different political parties and leaders often level allegations against one another. Very common thing it is that at the time of election, people allegate other parties. And even parties and candidates, they often use the dirty tricks to win elections also. And even according to some people, this pressure to win electoral fights doesn't allow sensible long-term policies to be formulated. But some good people who may wish to serve the country do not enter this arena. So they do not like the idea of being dragged into unhealthy competition. So our constitution makers, they were aware of these problems. That is why they opted for free competition in elections as a way to select our future leaders. They did so because this system works better in the long run. In an ideal world, all political leaders know what is good for the people and are motivated only by a desire to serve them. As you know, the democracy is based on the wishes of the people. And if the people wishes are not satisfied, people will remove the candidate, remove their representative in the next election. So political competition is not necessary in such an ideal world, but in real life it is very important. Political leaders all over the world, like all other professionals, are motivated by a desire to advance their political career. Like these political leaders, they also want to make their career in politics, and they want to remain in power, or they just want to remain in positions and with that they also wish to serve the people as well. So but it is risky to depend entirely on their sense. Even they wish to serve the people, they may not know what is required to do so. Sometimes they are not aware about the wishes of the people. So how to deal with this real life situation? One way is to try and improve the knowledge of political leaders, and the other and the more realistic way is to set up a system where political leaders are rewarded for serving the people and punished for not doing so. Now beta, here two words I have used: rewarded and punished. How these political leaders they will be rewarded? Because in next election again they will be elected by the people. It means they got reward of their work. And suppose people they are against that particular representative, they will not vote for him. Like in the beginning of this chapter we have read about a incident of Haryana, right? So the simple answer is the regular electoral competition provides incentive to political parties and leaders, and even they know if they raise issues the people want to be raised. It means if they will work as per the wishes of the people, their popularity and chances of victory will increase in the next election. But if they fail to satisfy the voters, they will not be able to win again. So if a political party is motivated only by desire to be in power, even then it will be forced to serve the people. It means if any political party is there, if that party just want to be in power, but to be in power that party has to be forced to serve the people. Otherwise that party cannot remain in power. So beta, this was about the, is it good to have political competition? Yes, it is very much important to have political competition in a democratic country. Now beta, the next topic is, that is, what is our system of election in our country, how the elections are held. Beta, about this topic we read in class 7 also and class 8 also. So can we say that Indian elections are democratic? To answer these questions, that how elections are held in India, we should know about our election system. Like Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha elections are held regularly after every 5 years. After 5 years, the term of all the elected representative comes to an end, and the Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha stands dissolved automatically after every 5 years. But there is an exception of wartime or any external attack on country. So any emergency, only that time the rule of government can be extended beyond 5 years. Otherwise the tenure is of 5 years. So elections are held in all constituencies at the same time, either on the same day or within the few days. As you know beta, like suppose Lok Sabha elections are held all over the country. In all the 28 states and 9 union territories it will be held. So in that way the time will be same. Means there is a duration that within 15 days all over the country the elections will be held. And this is called a general election. When there are election in all the constituencies, then it is called a general election. But there are more terms also, like if elections is held only for one constituency, by chance that constituency became vacant just because of resignation or death of a member, so those elections are known as by elections, right? So in this topic we have read about the general elections and by elections. Because there is one more term also, that is known as the midterm election. If due to any of the reason, suppose that due to the tenure of 5 years before that, if the government is dissolved, at that time the fresh elections are held. Those elections are known as the midterm election. But midterm election, that is also the same as the general elections, right? So now beta, you all of you are aware about the general election, by election and midterm election. So beta, this was the topic for today. Rest of the topic we will discuss in next lecture. Hope all of you have understood the topic. Thank you and have a nice day.